A new game by Capcom that got announced, guys, is called Pragmata, which is slated for 2022. This is the newest IP by Capcom in over 4 years. And I gotta say, guys, there are some very interesting vibes you get to this just reveal trailer that they had. And I'm really actually quite intrigued and excited to hear more about this world as a whole and kind of where they're trying to go with this futuristic type of style game that gives you kind of a sense of, Death Stranding and other games kind of like Infinite Warfare and multiple games that kind of it reminds you of, but it kind of feels like it's going to be its own thing at the same time. I want to talk about the top 5 things that we want in Pragmata, and this is very premature, guys, obviously, because we don't know much about the story at this point, but I think that it's never too early to give your wish list on the things that we want out of Pragmata, and I think it's really important that we do this because, look, at the end of the day, this is going to be one of those games that I think could very well set up, the next generation of gaming, but not even more so than that. It can also kind of, raise the bar when we're talking about these futuristic types of games and psychological thrillers. And I think it could definitely raise the bar on a number of those just based on the reveal trailer alone. So let's talk about it, guys. So as I said, the top 5 things, guys, that, we want out of Pragmata. And, my opinion on my top 5 may be different than yours. And if they are, let me know in the comment section below what your top 5 things that you want out of Pragmata. So at number 1, guys, I really want Pragmata to be its own thing. And so what I'm getting at is that, look, it kind of has, looks kind of like Death Stranding, looks a little bit like Infinite Warfare, which is, one of the Call of Duty titles. It looks a little bit like a number of different games out there, but I want it to be its own thing. I want this to be one of those games that isn't just kind of like a copy and paste of what, has been successful in the past. I want it to really try to evolve the futuristic types of games. And it looks kind of like it's going to be futuristic, obviously. It looks like it's going to be somewhat psychological. It looks like there's going to be some mystery here, probably some open world elements as well, which I think is going to be really good. But I want it to be its own thing at the end of the day. Surprise us, Capcom. We want your new IP to be something that is, turned into a full-blown franchise like some of your franchises that you currently have. That being like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil. So that's number 1. At number 2, guys, for me, I want to see a semi-open to a full open world here, which I think they're insinuating we're going to most likely get. It looks like your character, which looks like the futuristic robot, is most likely who you are going to be controlling. Potentially you'll be controlling the girl that was in the trailer as well. It's hard to say, but most likely you're going to be that, that futuristic robot. And I'm excited to see where that kind of goes, but I would love to see the semi-open world at least. To a full open world would be absolutely awesome. It looks like things are going to take place on the moon. Things may also be taking place on Earth as well. And it looks like, there may be like kind of a tie between, what they're trying to do here. Like it's hard to tell in the trailer if, you're actually on Earth at first, because you kind of smash through like what looks to be like a satellite or some form of glass or something. So I don't know if they're trying to give you an impression that it's Earth, but it actually isn't. If you're on another galaxy, where are you exactly? It looks to be Earth, but at the same time, it looks like, maybe it's Earth, but kind of an evolved Earth. It's very hard to say, but nonetheless, I really want, at the end of the day, to have at least a semi-open world. I think we may very well get in full open world, which I would totally gladly embrace. At number 3, guys, I think having multiplayer and co-op experiences, it looks like there's a potential to co-op. Maybe you as the guy in the suit or the robot, as well as the girl. There's maybe an element that, you can play co-op. One person plays the girl, one person plays the robot. That might be a possibility. Having multiplayer elements, this looks like a game. It looks like it could be like a shooter almost, like a third-person shooter, or just like an RPG potentially. I think multiplayer in this I kind of am getting at, like, there's a lot of ways that they could maybe do this as far as from a customizable standpoint, as well as having earnable items and stuff within a game like this very early. Don't get me wrong, but I think that especially with a new IP like this, having multiplayer would be very good. And look, guys, when I'm talking about this, compared to other games that Capcom does, look at Devil May Cry. They've made a bunch of games up to this point and they don't have multiplayer, right? I think it could really help build that franchise and that fan base in a major way if Devil May Cry had multiplayer. So I think one way that they could do is to really get a kickstart on Pragmata is have multiplayer and co-op modes already built in. Then that brings me to number 4, guys, which I kind of already alluded to, customizable options and items as well as earnable items. So what I'm getting at, guys, is in the multiplayer modes or even just campaign, right? From a co-op perspective, a single player story, from a multiplayer perspective, having multiple ways that you can customize your character, like the robot, being able to like customize your character, customizing like different earnable items, whether that be weaponry, whatever it is, guys. This feels so much like Death Stranding, but what they could do is go another, they could kind of go a whole, huge amount further than what Death Stranding did with multiplayer and co-op and such, which Death Stranding kind of kept you within, like the single player story essentially, whereas this could really take you to obviously different worlds and such, but also it could, have different customizable options, earnable items within the multiplayer modes and such. I think they could do something really special with this. I just hope that they go the extra mile with a game like this, especially because it's already slated for 2022. So you got a couple of years. And then coming in, guys, at number 5 is, something that I think this is kind of a two-part, segment here. I would like to, I just really want Capcom to surprise us here, right? I want there to be maybe similarities and kudos to other games in this, but I also want it to be, like I said, its own thing, but I really want them to surprise us in multiple ways. Lots of psychological elements to this game, it looks like. A lot of mystery here, maybe some different puzzles and such that they're very good at doing in Capcom games. And then overall, guys, having, multiplayer elements and such always helps as well. But I think as far as the story goes, I would love them just to surprise us. And then the second part of this is, could this be a free-to-play game? It's hard to say. Most likely it's not going to be free-to-play. I think it would be pretty cool, though, to see this game, being brought out as a free-to-play IP for Capcom, because most of their games up to this point are, pay-to-play. It'd be interesting to see Pragmata, a new IP, their newest IP in 4 years, get that free to play. Everyone starts playing it. It could be something really special in my opinion. But those are my top 5 things that I would like to see in Pragmata. And obviously this list will probably change as we get closer and closer to the release. As more information comes out, I'll be sure to keep you guys all posted as that information comes out. And let me know, guys, what are your top 5 things that you want to see in Pragmata? Let me know. And for more Pragmata content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.